There has been a lot of controversy surrounding Activision's workplace culture. How do you respond to that?
Look, like any large company with 16,000 employees, we're going to have some instances of workplace discrimination or harassment. We're fortunate. Over our 30 years, it's been a very small number, and it's something that we care deeply about because you can't create the kind of content that we've created over the long period of time that we have successfully without having a great workplace culture. Most of what you've read in the news media is just a mischaracterization. Having said that, over the last couple of years, it's been a catalyst for us to say, how can we have truly the most welcoming, inclusive workplace in the world? And I think that one of the benefits of having the media attention, even as inaccurate as it was, is that it was a catalyst for us to say, hey, we can do better and we can improve and we can build a culture that is going to be the most welcoming and inclusive. And I think that over the last couple of years, we've done that.
Why is gaming having a moment right now in movies and television?
It really is the first time that we're seeing, in my view, the translation of intellectual property from video games successfully in film and television. In the case of The Last of Us, you have Craig and Neil, who were and always have been incredible, exceptional storytellers. And they had an enthusiasm for games. So they made a game that was rooted in a really good story. The skills usually for building games don't really require you to have exceptional storytelling capabilities. They are much more visceral and they require you to have game-making skills. In the case of Mario, Chris Meledandri and Shigeru Miyamoto are two of the most creative, inspired people that you could ever collaborate with. So you had great writer, great creative talent, both were inspired. But those are rare combinations. I wouldn't expect that to be the norm. I think that when you look out over the next 5 to 10 years, these are going to be two exceptions.
How is the gaming industry similar to Hollywood, and how is it different?
I would say the closest parallels in terms of similarities would be more like animation. So I think if you look at a Pixar or Illumination, the process that you go through to create animated films and TV shows is more iterative. You can create something, you can test it, you can see how it works with an audience, then you can improve upon it. And games are much more like that in terms of similarity. The differences, though, are pretty substantial. So if you think about successful film and television, it's all about suspension of disbelief and creating an emotional connection with the audience and characters on the screen through dialogue. Video game successes are more visceral. So you're having a social experience, you're having a competitive experience. If I'm going to have you experience the vicissitudes of war, I have to make you feel like you're in a battle. If you're flying an airplane, I have to make you feel viscerally like you're flying an airplane. But it's not an emotional connection that you have with a character on a screen. It's about how you feel in the moment that you're playing. And the games themselves are much more social. So you're playing, competitively or cooperatively, and that's a very different experience than a story unfolding on a screen.
Why does your merger with Microsoft make sense?
Our merger with Microsoft, it's coming at a really pivotal time. It's increasingly difficult to compete with companies like Sony and Nintendo that have these rich libraries of intellectual property and incredible technical talent and protected markets. And then if you look at the competition in China over the last decade, the biggest, most successful game and technology companies in the world are now Tencent and ByteDance. And these are extraordinary companies with extraordinary talent. And so we're now competing on a global playing field that we had never competed on before. And if a company like Microsoft, that it isn't really a consumer DNA company, it's an enterprise software company that has a games business with a few franchises, or a company like ours where we have a few franchises that have been really successful, but we don't have the same access to talent in AI and machine learning, in user interface and user experience and data analytics that a company like Microsoft might have. There are just so many companies now that are have entered the games business with unique competitive advantages that it seemed like the best way for us to ensure our continued success was to partner with a company like Microsoft.
Which of Activision's past franchises has the potential to make a return?
That's like asking which of my children has the most potential. We haven't made a Guitar Hero in a long time, and I think with AI and some of the new technologies that we could employ, I think we could create a really compelling new Guitar Hero. But I can't share with you the things that we're working on, but we have a lot of new things in production and development that require better mastery of a lot of these new technologies, but I think will be really innovative new types of game experiences.